Hello and welcome to the Sneaking Into the Movies podcast. I'm Max Nathan.
And I'm Norman Davis. And this week, we're talking about the very, very highly anticipated new horror movie from Danny Boyle. That's right, we're talking 28 years later.
Sneak in with us, and let's go.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Let me ask you, Max. Would you call yourself an Alex Garland head?
I would call myself an Alex Garland head, yes.
Or would you call yourself a Danny Boyle head?
I actually don't
How
know.
familiar are you with his filmography, I guess I should ask?
Not very familiar at all. I haven't seen that many of his movies. Are you a Danny Boyle head?
I haven't seen as many movies as I hoped I would, but I'm a fan of what I've seen. I really like Trainspotting. I like 28 Days Later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about Garland's directing. I'm a big Ex Machina fan.
Yeah.
I really did not like Men at all, and I wasn't too crazy about Civil War.
Yep.
I've yet to see Warfare, so that's where I'm at going in this movie.
Okay.
This is obviously very anticipated. I think it's safe to say this movie had the best trailer this year. I would argue best trailer in a very, very long time. Would you agree?
I would agree. Yeah, the trailer was fantastic.
Yeah, I think this got people really excited. I think this is a movie that might do well because of a good trailer, which you don't hear that too often. So
It is IP. It's a sequel too. Can't ignore that.
for sure. But yeah, I guess, what did you think, Max?
Of 28 years later.
28 years later.
I thought, and let me give a little background here. This is the first 28 blank later movies I've seen.
Got you.
This was my first entry to the franchise. I haven't seen Days or Weeks. And I was a little disappointed by this. Like you said, the trailer is fantastic, and it has this propulsive energy to it that is horrific and just action-packed, basically. And I did not feel that the movie exuded what the trailer gave me. I was a little bored at times, unfortunately so. And I thought it kind of meandered in the first act a bunch, and then we kind of get to something interesting, and there's a specific character that injects so much life into the movie in the middle of it. But overall, a little disappointed. What'd you think, Norman?
I think this is my favorite movie of the year so far.
God damn!
This is the first really just fantastic. I've been thinking about it nonstop. I love this start to finish. This,
Okay.
Like you said, I think this was kind of a bait and switch from the trailer.
Yeah.
But I still love what we got. I don't know. It's nice to go into something not really knowing what's going on, and it's kind of a different movie. And I think this movie takes some big swings, especially for a zombie movie. Later into the movie, you get, by the end, we'll talk about the end, but
Yeah.
the end is crazy. And most people are just talking about the last 5 minutes of the movie. But yeah, I love this. I thought it was really good. I connected with all the characters. I didn't find myself too bored. I agree the start was slower than the rest of the movie, but I wouldn't say I was ever bored. Yeah. I've seen 28 Days Later. It's been a long time. I don't remember most of it. I wouldn't say I'm a huge 28 whatever head or really a zombie guy in general, but I thought this was fantastic. Especially the second half was just, yeah. We'll talk about it a little more.
I agree with you there. I think that the second half is the part of the movie that actually connected with me a lot more. But yeah, I think that has to do with a very specific actor and character. And that actor and character, I guess we can talk about now, is Ralph Fiennes.
Dr. Kelson.
Dr. Ian Kelson. So most of the movie revolves around Spike, this kid, getting his mom, played by Jodie Comer, to this doctor because she's sick. And that doctor would be Dr. Ian Kelson, played by Ralph Fiennes. When they get there, Well, they hear Aaron Taylor Johnson tells Spike about this, seeing him, with a bunch of corpses, and he's this crazy guy, and yada 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 yada. And you get there, and it's fantastic. He is by far the best character in the movie, in my opinion. His performance injects so much life into a movie that I thought was pretty boring to that point. And I thought it was really great. What did you think about Ray Fiennes in this movie, Norman?
I thought it was fantastic. I thought everything with him, was the best part of this movie. Did not think this would be the first movie to make me cry this year, but
dang,
here we are.
Where?
Yeah, I was getting a little teary-eyed.
The death?
Yeah, the death and just the Skull Temple. I don't know. It was a nice little bait and switch because, you see him in the trailer and he's covered in whatever we found out it's iodine, but he looks like a freak and he's in this mountain of skulls. You're going to meet him and he's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
He's kind of a chill dude. Look,
yeah.
All things considered for the time. But yeah, I really liked everything with him. I liked how he talked about death and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I liked there was this big monument to everyone who died, infected and not, and like you said, you can't really tell the difference. They're all people, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked his character specifically. It was incredible.
I kind of love, like you said, like the bait and switch where like you're told he's this crazy person who's, super dangerous, don't go near him. And you get there and he's kind of the one guy that seems to have everything figured out. And I think it's like he's basically adapted to the ways of this new apocalyptic world. And it's, he has, overcome certain moral, ethical, hurdles, I would say. And it's like to adapt to live in the apocalyptic world, and it's like a totally foreign culture to the people that are living off the mainland in something that resembles something closer to the society that we live in. And I think that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about the movie, how he could be so different, and yet he's kind of the one guy that's like got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's the one kind of like, I don't know. He's just not scared,
Oh, he's taking on the alpha like it's nothing.
Yeah. Just shooting blow darts into an alpha, walking around a temple full of bones. Great stuff. The bone stuff was such a cool design as well. Really cool set.
It looked a little bit setty to me, if that makes sense.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you don't make that look too setty.
Yeah, it's like how did that one guy build that? But if you think about it too much,
it's best not to.
Falls apart.
But yeah, Dr. Kelson was great. I think there were a lot of fun just characters that popped in this.
Mm-hmm.
Eric was a highlight for me.
Yes, yeah.
The Swedish guard. That guy was funny. That was a much needed little comedic break whenever he came on screen. Had no idea he was in the movie. No idea who he was. My girlfriend Bree really liked him from a TV show that I'm blanking on the name of.
Interesting.
But he was really funny. Everything like with his girlfriend that killed me. That just
What's
you
wrong
were
with
there.
her
The
face?
theater was loving that part. Yeah, that was a fun part of the movie for me. Aaron Taylor Johnson is barely in this compared to what the trailers made lead you to believe.
Yeah. Kraven the Hunter himself, not really in the movie too much. I thought his performance was mixed, in my opinion. Like I like his presence, and I felt this way about him for a long time. I really like his presence in movies. I think he has a good presence, a good vibe. He looks like a movie star. He looks good. But as an actor, I haven't been sold in basically anything yet.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Bullet Train, but that's or not Bullet Train. Oh yeah, no. He was good in Bullet Train, and then I'm thinking of The Fall Guy. The Fall Guy, where he's basically doing a McConaughey impression. He's funny. But
I never saw that one.
It's very simple and funny. It's not a crazy. You don't got to do a crazy amount of dramatic acting for The Fall Guy.
Can't imagine.
But he's good in that. I think that, acting in a movie like this with the way that they filmed it can be a little bit difficult, though. And I was thinking about that during the movie. I was a little critical of his performance, but when you're acting opposite a camera, there's certain, all actors kind of know how to, or professional actors kind of know how to operate in front of a camera. This movie was filmed on iPhone 15s, and
like 30 of them.
Yeah, and they would have rigs where there's like 8 of them in a semicircle around them, or 10, or even 20, and I think that might be like a total recalibration for an actor that can be pretty difficult, because you don't even know quite where you're looking, because when they get into the post-production, they have like a zillion angles, and it's like you're kind of just like very naturally acting, I would imagine, and then like they're gonna pull an angle that you might not have been optimizing your performance for. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of I thought about that, and I was like, that might be tough.
Kind of reminds me of kind of a different thing, but similar. That like famous video of Ian McKellen on The Hobbit.
Yeah,
and he's just in the green room and just breaks down crying because he's like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, just a different way to film. But I mean, it's cool that they used iPhones and stuff.
Yeah.
The first movie's very scrappy, and I don't know if handheld's the right word, but just like,
I mean, it was shot on a camcorder, so I mean,
yeah,
it's probably a lot of it is handheld. I haven't seen it, but
so kind of I think it replicated that well. Did you enjoy the cinematography in this movie as a whole?
I did. I thought that the use of the iPhones was really cool. And I think that's the one thing about the movie that I can actually pull from it and go like, okay, so that was next level. That I think we can pull from this and, implement it in other places. I think the use of those rigs where they would put 8 to 10 to 20 iPhones all the way around a subject, and then when, an arrow goes through a zombie, they would, flash the angle. They would stop time and pull you in a circle all the way around the subject, watching the arrow go through. I think that was really, really, really cool. And I loved it. And I think that's not easily replicable because, who's going to... You need the iPhones for it. But I think that's a thing that young filmmakers or filmmakers that are, are low on resources can do in a way that won't, like, it's a very technically impressive maneuver that you can actually pull off, I think.
Yeah. It's very video gamey, and
yes.
Calling something video gaming has become offensive because that usually means bad CG. That's not the case here. Like when I say video gaming, I mean in a really cool, different way that like in your brain it's just like you can't film like that. Like I mean something like a video game, you put the camera wherever you want. Same with animation or whatever.
Yeah,
and you could do crazy things like that. So when you see that in a movie, it kind of takes a second for your brain to get there. But yeah, I really like the cinematography. I thought this was such a cool looking movie.
Yeah.
Just kind of all over the place, in your face, like the world they live in. So
yeah. And yeah,
that was one of the standouts. I think even people who really didn't like this movie will be talking about the cinematography. It's hard to deny.
Yeah. And, even if you don't like it, it's definitely distinct enough to notice. It's like that movie looks, even if you didn't like it, you're probably like, that movie looked funky. And I don't even think that's necessarily a bad thing in this context.
No, I'm surprised a lot of this movie got past test screenings.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's very unconventional for a movie as big as this movie seemingly is going to be.
Yeah, I haven't seen any cinema score yet. I don't know if you have. I'm curious how this is going to resonate with people. If this could have a huge drop off, because I think this is pretty out there for the crowd it kind of attracts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was like. We went Friday night. This was a full house. Full house. I can't imagine everyone in that theater liked this movie or was vibing with what it was going for the entire time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I wasn't really.
Yeah, so I'm curious. We'll see a big drop off. If we'll see, on Twitter on Monday, and everyone's got something to say, as always. But that worked for me. So
yeah,
I'm probably to go see this again. I really like this movie. Yeah, this is kind of easily number one of the year for me so far.
Easily number one over Sinners.
To be honest with you, Max, I've had a movie above Sinners for a little while.
Let me try to think about what that is.
I promise you don't want to think about it. It's best not to think about it because you're gonna be like, what?
I'm trying to think about I don't remember a movie that you really liked that was like super weird. I can't.
I'll give you a hint. You didn't really like it. It came out in the last month and a half.
Month and a half.
It's Mission Impossible. That's been my number one.
Oh my
for a
god,
while.
that's number one. Holy!
I loved that movie.
Smokes!
I really liked Final Reckoning, like a lot.
Damn. Okay. Dang.
Sinners was great though. Sinners is at 3. I did.
No, you hate Sinners now. That's what you're saying.
I hate Sinners now. Thunderbolts was better. Lilo and Stitch was better. Yeah.
Thunderbolts.
Was great.
Thunderbolts was actually, maybe higher than I'm comfortable saying on this podcast on the top 12 at points in time. But yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah,
28 years later, I don't know where that's going to land on the top 12. I don't know if it'll be there by the end of the year. I don't think it will be on mine, but it seems like it will definitely be on yours.
If this is my favorite movie of the year at the end of the year, then we have a problem, but I think it'll definitely be in the top 12. Okay. I thought this was incredible. It's not what I thought I would be getting into going in, but it was even better.
Yeah. I think we would be remiss if we didn't mention the cinematographer of the movie is Anthony Dodd Mantle, who also shot 28 Days Later on the camcorder, and he kind of specializes in these unconventional cinematography setups where he's doing a camcorder, or in this case, we're doing iPhone 15 Pro Maxes. But yeah, I think this movie, owes a lot of its, uniqueness to Anthony Dodd Mantle, and also the collaboration with Danny Boyle.
Yeah, they are longtime collaborators. As far as I'm looking here. It's cool stuff.
Definitely. I think I'm going to post a picture of what this looks like on the socials just so people can kind of see what it looks like. But these rigs that they're using are nuts, where they have a subject, basically. Like, imagine zombie guy. And then you know what I'm talking about. I'm just kind of explaining this for the listeners.
Yeah.
So they have a zombie subject, right? Imagine you're a zombie. And then you have a rig, which is basically a tray, a giant tray, and there's a semicircle cut out of the tray. And along this semicircle, you have 20 iPhones. And they're each capturing an angle, a very specific, angle at the same time. And it goes all the way around the subject. So that's kind of how you capture what Danny Boyle calls a poor man's bullet time, where you're, scanning across the subject as they get shot in the head or something like that. And he says it gives you 180 degrees of vision in an action, and in the editing, you can select any choice from it, either like the conventional one camera perspective, where you're taking, one of the perspectives of the iPhones on the tray, or make your way instantly around reality, time slicing the subject, jumping forward or backward for emphasis. And I think that's the signature element of this film that Norman and I were talking about. I love it. I think it's, fantastic. I hope to emulate some of this because I think this is really, really cool. And he said
we're going to see a lot of this in student films over the next couple of years. I feel
maybe,
like
yeah.
I mean, this is stuck with me. Like, stuff I've seen in this, same thing. I'm going to want to give it a try,
Yeah, definitely.
Get a couple, you got a crew, everyone give me your phone.
Yep.
I'll give it back to you, I promise.
Yeah. They do. We should also mention they're not, grabbing, Danny Boyle's iPhone and Anthony Dodd Mantle's iPhone. They have very, very expensive lens attachments on each of these iPhones as well. So, you know, you can emulate this look, but it may not look. You may not have the super duper premium tools that they have as well. You know, they have layers and layers and layers on top of this. They have this
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
thousands of dollars of lighting equipment. Yeah, like you said, lenses. I mean,
Yeah.
these rigs are like specifically built for these specific shots. But
yeah.
I mean, still, it's like you can shitty rig a lot of this, you know.
Yeah, it's not to
And-
say a low budget version of this can't look just as good, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I think a lot of horror movies have like slowed down moving the camera in the past 5 years. It's because a lot of them kind of have the same thematic things going on. But, you know, the quote unquote A24 horror movie, you know what I'm talking about? So it's just nice to see, you know, just a disgusting zombie movie that was kind of suffocating to watch at points.
Yeah. Always
When
nice to
they're-
see a movie with some energy, too.
Yeah, I'm so tired of these slow burn, rah, 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 rah. Especially zombies. I think zombies have gotten pretty stale.
Yeah, I guess we
I don't know,
haven't
I mean-
had a good... I can't think of a good zombie movie that we've had in the past while. I used to watch The Walking Dead, quit on that on season 6 when, you know, basically shortly after Glenn dies.
That's when I gave up too. That's funny.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people gave up there. They started spinning it off into, you know, the Daryl show, and then Maggie and Negan are in New York, and it's like, ugh, no, it's cooked, it's over.
Yeah.
Stop.
I think the biggest zombie movie TV thing we have right now is the Last of Us show, which
Yeah, and we don't.
I
like
can't
that.
really speak. Yeah, I can't really speak on the second season, but like, I mean, the zombies and stuff look cool. All talking from the first season, but yeah, it's just like that slow burn, and like they're all CGI backgrounds, so it's hard to really be like, whoa.
Yeah. I watched.
can't-
I watched up to the Joel death in season 2.
Yeah.
Spoilers for The Last of Us. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, no, they do something in that scene that's just like, I think they're ruining it. They're basically making Abby like way more vengeful than she is
Talking about
in
when
the
she
actual game.
stabs him in the neck.
Yeah. But even before that, the whole monologue like isn't there in the game really, where she's like, "You killed my dad." That comes way later in the game. And I don't know. I just think you're kind of ruining the like
They also
Abby
like already
story.
did the porch scene. I don't know. They ruined a lot of the. They don't trust the viewer. That's what I got from season 2 of that show. I didn't
Yeah.
watch all of it, but like, that game works so well because, you know, like you just kind of feel it. You kind of, you know, Ellie and Abby or Ellie and Joel don't have to say these things to each other, but it's not turned into The Last of Us
Yeah.
to talk. But yeah, what was the last zombie movie you saw before this? That came out, I guess. Not like if you went and watched, you know, Night of the Living
Last
Dead, but
zombie movie. Well, I remember a lot of zombie TV. There's like The Last of Us. There was that like Marvel What If Zombies episode thing.
oh lord,
There was it's not much cinematic zombies.
the last zombie movie I went and saw in theaters was The Dead Don't Die. I don't know if you remember that.
I
with,
didn't see that. I wanted to
Adam
see it,
Driver. It
but
was all right. Wasn't my favorite. I think Jim Jarmusch did it.
yep.
Wasn't too crazy about it, but it wasn't terrible. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like boring, slow zombies, blah blah blah. It's just nice to just have something so different. And yeah,
Mhm.
like it is really inspiring just seeing all the creative ways they went around to shoot stuff. Like
Yeah.
you said, I mean, these are $1,000 rigs and lights and lens, etc. But yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of this emulated, which I don't think is a bad thing.
No,
the first one was like huge for the zombie genre and like was totally different, and that's why it's kind of become this cult classic.
Yeah.
That you couldn't even watch on Amazon up until like 2 months ago. So
Yeah, and the lenses that you mentioned also provide for like this very like widescreen format that they used. It's just very, very wide, and they said that they used that because like they wanted you to keep looking around for the infected. Like it's such a wide landscape that you're constantly worrying about what's around in the surrounding
Definitely.
area. And I think that also worked. I think, you know, the feeling of paranoia that a zombie is going to show up really persisted throughout the movie. Um,
Yeah, it would be so easy for this to just look cheap and gimmicky.
yeah,
Like, I know we talk about, using iPhones in these rigs. Like, that is not easy at all. Like, to make it work,
yeah,
like, you can have these ideas in your head. I think everyone does who's trying to make film. But, like, making it work is incredible.
yeah.
Like, this won't, but this should get a Best Cinematography nom at the Oscars.
Best
Just straight up.
cinematography.
Yeah, I think for what it's doing for cinematography and how new and different it all feels, I don't think that's too crazy to say.
I see where you're going with it, and it's kind of like, I guess, it's a little similar, not super similar, but a little similar to like the Top Gun cinematography Oscar from a couple years ago, where they, strapped these huge cinema cameras into the F-16s or whatever they were in, and they basically had to like make cameras that fit into the cockpit of those fighter jets while also making sure that they don't come unlatched from anything. Otherwise, they would have instantly killed the actor in the thing, because of all the force it would have flown directly into the actor and smush them or whatever. That's pretty revolutionary. I think this is kind of like doing a similar thing, I guess. I don't know if I'm willing to walk that far with you on this one, but we'll see by the end of the year.
I was gonna say we'll see by the end of the year. I don't know. I think just the fact that this works is big enough for a nom. But yeah, we'll see what comes out this year. What else looks nice this year? I mean, this won't be at the Oscars anyway. The Oscars don't look at certain movies, regardless of what they're doing.
Yeah, there's a zombie in it. It's not going.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I mean, the look of this movie was just crazy.
Can we talk about the zombies a little bit? The specific zombies? Yeah. I love when a movie can kind of like differentiate between its like beasts, I guess, let's say. Like there's the antagonists in this movie are the zombies, right? But it's not just, generic zombies. There's a bunch of different kinds of zombies, and this is something that The Last of Us does well as well.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of like you talked about, video gamey. This is another aspect of that. So you have your alphas, you have your fat boys, you got your skinny guys, you got your normal guys, and there's a pregnant one. There's all
gives
these
birth to a non-infected baby.
What did you think of that?
I thought that was interesting.
Yes.
I don't know. It was kind of crazy to see. I wasn't expecting birth in this movie. But like I said, I wasn't expecting a lot of things to happen in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also kind of reminded me of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Ellie's mom gets bit and then she's immune.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, I guess, will this baby play a big role in the next two movies?
Oh. Maybe, I guess. I forgot about...
I would be shocked if they go that route, especially because I think the second one at least is going to take place like probably right after or within a couple months. Like I don't think we're going to get 10 years later in the Bone Temple, which is the next movie we'll talk about a little more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, I guess.
Definitely. I think it's a beautiful scene, like when like Jodie Comer helps the infected out with the giving birth. But I got to tell you, I hate to ruin the moment, but I am keeping a damn close eye on that baby before deducing, like, hey, he's fine.
Oh,
like, how do you know he's fine? He's a baby.
Absolutely. I was like, half of me was just expecting that baby to like flip on its back and start crawling around like a freak or something.
Yeah.
Might just be a normal ass baby though. They just saved a baby.
Yeah, I guess.
We here at Sneaky in the Movies are fans of people who save babies.
Yeah.
I think it's time we say it.
Yep.
But yeah, I did really think that was a cool, kind of different thing to happen in the movie. It was gross, which everything else in this movie was gross.
Yeah.
But it was also beautiful, which
definitely.
I guess that's birth. So, but yeah, I thought that was cool. I don't think it'll play a huge prominent role or nothing going on later, but
Yeah, it just kind of feels like the bookend to this movie. Like, the baby's name is Isla, and the circle of life. I guess it continues.
yeah.
But yeah,
Do we want to talk about the last 5 minutes of this movie, or is it?
yeah, we got to talk about the last 5 minutes of this movie.
So, before I say what it was, Max, did you see this coming?
Not at all.
Okay. So, with about 5 minutes left in the movie, Spike, which, by the way, we didn't talk about it, great apocalypse name. If I had a kid during the apocalypse, I'd probably name him Spike too. But, he decided he's going to stay on his own, out there, learn to be his own man or whatever. And he gets run up by a bunch of infected. And here comes Jack O'Connell, who we knew was in this movie.
I didn't.
I don't know if you did. Oh, okay. Like, he was part of the press. I think he said his character was a big fat cunt or something like that. In his words, not mine. Yeah, so Jack O'Connell comes out. And we see he's this kid from the start of the movie. There's a scene in the trailer with, like, the Teletubbies and stuff. If you've seen the trailer. And that kid is now grown up. And he's wearing a tracksuit. And you're a little confused. And he's like, oh, you want my help? And then a bunch of other people in tracksuits, different colored tracksuits, come and fight these infected. And this is just shot like Power Rangers, just straight up. I'm not the first person to say this, but flips and kicks, and they're all in different colors. I'm looking on IMDb now. Every single one of these people is named Jimmy.
Are you fucking serious?
We got Sir Jimmy Crystal, Jimmy Ink, Jimmy Shite, Jimmy Fox, Jimmy Jones, Jimmy Snake, and Jimmy Ma.
So that was not all the kids from the room.
I don't think it was all the kids. I think it was just Jimmy.
Jimmy Gang.
So Cillian Murphy's character in the first movie is named Jimmy. I don't know. I'm curious if that's gonna have some implication.
You think he's part of that?
I don't know if he's part of that, if he's kind of like become this martyr for these people or whatever, but it has been confirmed that they've shot this and the second one. They're waiting on the third one. I guess if this one does well, they'll finance it. But it's been confirmed that Cillian Murphy is 100% coming back if they do a third one.
Okay.
So, because originally when they first go into that house with his dad and they see the body and it has Jimmy written on it, I was like, whoa, is this Cillian Murphy? But no, I guess it was the gang of Jimmys. But seems like they will be our protagonists going forward. I'm looking at the gang of Jimmys. There's some famous people in here that I did not recognize while watching.
I think you know what my little stupid suggestion would be for the next one. Not that they're listening. I think it would be fun if the next one is just like straight up a comedy.
That would be bold. So I guess, we can talk about the next one a little bit. It's slated to come out in January. It has a completely different team. It has a new director, new DP, and a new writer.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the third one's going back to Boyle and Garland. I'm curious and slightly worried.
That is weird.
It's a little weird. It's Nia De Acosta, who I think is a great director. I think her Candyman movie is fantastic. It's a great horror movie.
You love that movie.
I do. I like that movie quite a bit.
Okay.
And I thought The Marvels was fun. With what you could tell that she did. But yeah, so I guess that'll be interesting to see. They already shot it, so let's tell them Bree here. We're not in a Batman 2 Spider-Verse situation. I'm curious though. Coming out in January, whole new team. That's a little scary. It's not really encouraging, I guess you could say.
But I mean, the fact that it is a whole new team, it's not like, you could say like, oh, same team making a movie, 6 months later, like, or releasing 6 months later. You're like, oh, that's, they're clearly, rushing it. It's overworked, and this is gonna suck. The fact that it's a whole new team kind of makes sense to me. I don't know. I think I would have hope for that because like you said, like we like Nia DaCosta, and yeah, I know. I enjoyed living in this world for about an hour and a half, and I'm excited to watch more, even though I didn't really like this one that much.
Yeah, I'm curious if this is going to be more action heavy, just more continuing the story. I can't imagine it'll be as emotional or deep, just because they kind of got all out of the way here. But
you never know.
Yeah, you never do know. We know, Jack O'Connell is kind of the main character in this next one. I don't know if you'd heard that, but
okay, I didn't hear that.
We spent a lot of time with Sir Jimmy Crystal and all of his Jimmies.
Okay,
I love that they're all named Jimmy. By the way, that's just awesome. Like that adds a tick.
Yeah.
I think that last 5 minutes is going to be make or break for a lot of people, though, because it is out of nowhere. It is weird. It is not really I guess he has a Power Rangers figure at the start. I don't know.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's got a little Power Ranger and he thinks about taking it with him.
Yeah, so I guess that is a direct visual reference to the way Power Rangers is shot.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone thought it was going to lead to British people in tracksuits. But I thought it was cool. I thought it was wacky and zany and weird.
Mm-hmm.
I like weird. I'm excited to see where this all goes. I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah, me too. You want to head to a break real quick?
Yeah, I'll do a quick break. I got a secret question I'm going to ask you when we get back.
All right, secret question when we get back. We're back, talking 28 years later. What a film. Lots of zombies.
Lots of zombies.
Norman, when the ending was happening, I couldn't help but think about Split. And that might sound weird.
Okay.
You know, in the ending of Split, you know, you get, what's his name? David Dodd? Is that his name from Unbreakable?
Yes.
Bruce Willis's character from Unbreakable shows up and he's watching the news and he's like, damn, I'm Mr. Unbreakable and I'm in Split. And this is a crossover now. At the ending of 28 Years Later, I couldn't help but think, like, this Jack O'Connell character is Remick. He's just lasted this long. And this is what he looks like now. Because, of course, I mean, that's what he would look like if he, made it that far.
Probably.
But yeah, no, I was just thinking about that. I was like, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, big year for him. He's in some big movies. I was just reading this movie made $60 million this weekend, which was its entire production budget. So
yeah,
looks like we're probably gonna have a hit on our hands. Like I said, word of mouth for this could be awful. It wouldn't surprise me. I imagine people like most of this.
Yeah,
I can see word of mouth destroying this movie.
It got a B cinema score, so not too bad.
Not great, but not too bad.
No, yeah, it's just kind of meh. I don't think the word of mouth will be terrible. I don't think it will be, you gotta go out and see this. I think industry people are a little worried about the fact that there are, like, they didn't do this in IMAX as well. Because that accounts for so much of the business now. People really do make decisions based on whether something is going to be in the premium large formats now. And
they should have.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting that we've swayed to seemingly Oppenheimer and Dune, but maybe mainly Oppenheimer. I feel
mainly
like.
Oppenheimer, but Dune definitely. Dune was kind of like the reaping the reward from Oppenheimer.
I think you can attribute most of it to Christopher Nolan, but he has basically swayed the entire public into a behavior that is essentially. I think people see movies less, and when they do, they want to go to the biggest possible version of them, and they're willing to spend more on movies and go to less movies. You know what I mean?
I think we also have to take a second to thank the president of movies himself, Tom Cruise. I think Top Gun Maverick played a big part in that, a bigger part
That's
that people
true.
talk about.
That's
It's just
true.
because like Oppenheimer was the IMAX movie, but Top Gun low-key was too. I mean, that was selling out in IMAX for weeks when that movie came out. That
Yeah.
movie was obviously huge. Y'all were all there, listeners. Y'all remember when this movie was coming out. It was talk of the town, at least here in America. But I would imagine, yeah, a huge part of that ticket sale was IMAX, because it was like, you have to see this in IMAX. And, I mean, that was incredible in IMAX. It was unbelievable. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because the movie was cheaper. It might be hard.
I mean, they shot it on iPhones.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say
it's-
they shot it in such an unconventional way. It might not. I mean, we saw it at the Dolby, which is a premium format. It's mainly audio, so.
Yeah, until they can pack an IMAX camera into the size of an iPhone, I don't think we're. I don't think
Probably
they would have
closer
done
than
it
we
that
think
way.
we are.
I don't know. I
maybe
mean,
not.
that would be nuts if we got there. I know, on the Suicide Squad, odd tangent, the James Gunn one, they filmed that in IMAX on a really kind of condensed IMAX camera. It's like kind of small.
The
and
red cameras, right?
Yeah, and there was a lot of special features and stuff about James Gunn talking about how useful the size of that camera was in doing all of the, that movie has a lot of motion in it, and I really like the way that movie looks. And yeah, the camera, bounces around a ton, and they whip it and things like that. Like, I think that kind of stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, like the folks at home, IMAX cameras are like huge. Like, it's hard to say without just looking one up. I always think of the picture of Zack Snyder carrying one, because
Yeah.
Zack Snyder's just jacked, and it's like, it looks like you have to be super jacked to really, swing that thing around. I
Yeah.
can't imagine, trying to make an action movie and you have this camera that's hundreds of pounds that
Yeah.
you need to turn and do crazy stuff with. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still think, we'll see more of these premium formats. I'm curious if Sony will come out and be like, oh, we should have put this in premium formats. But,
I mean, it isn't premium. It isn't. We saw it in Dolby, so that's
I
a
guess in
premium format.
IMAX. So I guess there's kind of like, I don't know, they just had the trailer for Predator Badlands before that.
Yeah.
Still looks awesome. I'm even more excited for that after Killers of Killers. I don't know if you were thinking about that when they played that trailer. But
I think I missed that one. I must have been, because I went to the bathroom for
I
the
got you.
Roses trailer. It must have come right after the Roses.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're saying premium formats, but not IMAX, so I'm curious. But yeah, I think IMAX plays a big part. I think if this movie wasn't IMAX, we'd see a bigger opening weekend.
It's possible.
Possible. I'm curious, like, with this next batch of superhero movies that people want to see, if like we're going to see more people are going to IMAX than they were before.
Mhm.
Like for Superman and Fantastic Four, because I know those movies are both shot for IMAX.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess anything else on 28 Years Later?
It's it's a new addition to the short list of films that have been shot on cell phones. The other ones that come to mind are Tangerine, directed by Sean Baker. That movie's really good. I think they
That
shot
movie
that on.
is really good, and it's like really just shot on an iPhone. Like
Yes.
not shot on an iPhone. I don't know what lens they use. That movie's made for dirt cheap.
Yeah. I think they probably raw dogged that one. And
I
bet it
think
was
they
just,
did too.
just a regular old iPhone, no fancy lenses and stuff. 'Cause
And that movie does a lot of cool handheld stuff that you really couldn't do with handheld.
yes.
Like when all the running scenes are shot in a very specific way. When
Yep.
she goes to the apartment, that feels very 28 Years Later, to
Mm-hmm.
me. Just very like sporadic and like taking different angles and stuff.
Yeah.
Shout out Tangerine. Go watch Tangerine if you haven't.
It's
From a
great.
Nora director.
I think that was an iPhone 4 as well. iPhone 4 or 5. But yeah, no, kind of an older generation iPhone, and it still it looks like it's shot on an iPhone, but it's so of the time, I feel like, and that's kind of a lot of the motivation that Danny Boyle had to shoot 28 Years Later on iPhones, is it kind of plants your film in a place and time. because we use most people are capturing everyday life on iPhones. Like that's how most people are like seeing the world nowadays is through iPhone footage, and it really plants you in a place and time. And I think with Tangerine, you're on an older iPhone and you can kind of see that, and I think it looks it's a great film. I think Tangerine is really great. And also Soderbergh did this twice. I don't know if do you know about these two movies?
Is Kiki the one with Zoe Kravitz?
No, they didn't do that one on an iPhone.
Oh, I thought they did. Oh.
That one they did. It's
the one
called,
with Zazie Beetz, right?
Yes,
that's the one on the iPhone. I don't know the other one off the top of my head.
There's two. There's one's called Unsane, and then one called High Flying Bird.
Yeah, High Flying Bird is the one I've seen.
You saw that?
With Zazie
yes.
from Atlanta? Yes. The basketball one?
I haven't seen this movie. I'd never even heard of this movie until doing research for the pod. And I looked at the synopsis and everything, and, Steven Soderbergh, I think I should watch this movie.
It's a pretty cool movie.
Yeah.
I had it on my watch list for this summer of movies I kind of want to get back into.
Yeah. It's
thinking a little Soderbergh summer.
Yeah, it's about it's surrounding basketball. It takes place during lockout season, and there's an agent, and he tells the synopsis is pretty vague, but it's all like an agent has an unconventional proposition for his best athlete during a lockout season, and it's directed by Steven Soderbergh, filmed on an iPhone. Looks really interesting. I think I'm gonna tap in for that one.
Yeah, it's a neat movie from what I remember, but I guess that's gonna be it for 28 years later.
Yeah, that's
movie
28
of the
years
year.
later.
Go check it out.
Yeah,
super mega banger. Now a little awkward transition for my secret question for you, Max. And
let's
it has to do with basketball, which we just talked about. Just so we have it on video or recording, I guess. Who's gonna win tonight?
Ooh, it's a good question. I think home court advantage in Oklahoma City is very real.
They lock in over there.
Yeah. But
It's got to be the Pacers.
I think I got to pick the Pacers, dude. Because I just don't think you can, lose Game 6 by that much. We're going to Game 7. In an anything can happen one game scenario, I trust the Pacers more than I trust the Thunder right now. I think the Thunder are, maybe the better team, and they have been the better team throughout the regular season. But the Pacers have stepped it up to another level, and I think that, they've demonstrated time and time again that in these crunch time scenarios, and this is crunch time, this is Game 7, I don't know. I just trust them a little more. I think they're, the Thunder probably have a higher ceiling, but the Pacers have a higher floor, and I think in Game 7s, you need consistency, and I think that I trust the Pacers to deliver that consistency more than I do the Thunder right now. How about you? You're the Pacers?
Yeah, I'm Pacers. I'd rather see them win. I like the team more. I'm not crazy about either team. But, yeah, the way they've been playing and just they know when to lock in. Obviously, they did the last game. They needed to push it to 7. So, yeah, I'm going Pacers. I think they got it. It'd be pretty big if they win there in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anything else you want to discuss here, Max?
Kevin Durant got traded just now, like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, he did just get traded to the Rockets. Pretty crazy. Yep. He wanted to go to Texas. Spurs were in the running. After seeing this trade, I'm glad he didn't come here. I think he is overvalued.
Well, I think that you guys wouldn't have had to give up as much, because I think because let's see. So Kevin Durant traded to the Houston Rockets for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the number 10 pick in this year's draft, and 5 second-round picks. I think Steph Castle is probably more valuable than every single asset in this trade.
100%.
Except for maybe like number 10, but I think, Castle's probably more valuable than number 10.
number 10.
But yeah, I don't think the Spurs would have had to give up as much because I don't know. I just don't think I don't think Jalen Green is that good personally. I'm not that
I think
mad
he's better
about
than KD is right now.
That's crazy.
Same with Dylan Brooks. I don't think KD's very good anymore. I mean, he's almost 40.
He is since
He
leaving
made the
Golden
playoffs.
State, he's been a perennial loser, and that's the one thing that I would be worried about in trading for him. But I think
Yeah.
this makes their team so much better immediately because he's
I don't-
KD.
I don't know. I would have to disagree with you.
I think
think-
number 10 is the one thing you're kind of sad to see go. I'm not even.
I think
you
they
turn
had something going there with Jalen and Dylan, though.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
even like the Rockets, but
the Warriors cooked them.
the Warriors. I mean, yeah, but that's the Warriors. Okay, you think that team with KD on it is going to cook the Warriors? No way, bro.
I think they have a much better chance
I don't know.
because
I watched them
Jalen Green
lose.
wasn't giving him anything. He gave him one solid game, but it was the game where they kind of blew him out.
I guess so. I don't know. I watched them lose to the Spurs without Wemby this year. The Suns. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think KD is past his prime. I think he's been past his prime for a while. I think he
He's
sucks
36.
for going to the Warriors. 30. Oh, okay. I thought it was 38, but still 36. I don't know. I don't think he's got it anymore. Just straight up. I don't know. I think it's a weak sauce trade. I think the
We'll
Suns
see.
won that, and we will see. What
I
happens.
think the Rockets won that, and I think they're going to be really good next year.
I guess we'll just
And
have to wait and see.
I don't think this is the last trade they have left in them either.
Yeah.
So that's been
So
28
Giannis to the
years
Spurs.
later. Yeah, Giannis to the Spurs. I don't know if that's happening anymore. I
don't
feel
think
like
that's
Giannis is sticking around.
I'm good without trading anyone. We got number 2,
Yep. Dylan Harper.
probably Dylan Harper. Very exciting. But yeah, I guess that was 28 years later. Max, would you want to tell us what we're talking about next week?
What are we talking about next week? I gotta
Comes
pull up
out.
the schedule here. Let's see. This is podcasting.
This is podcasting.
What
What comes out this?
Oh, F1
F1 comes out
and
this week.
Megan 2.
So F1.
I will be seeing Megan 2 for sure. But yeah, no, we're probably gonna be talking mostly about
Yeah,
F1.
I will be seeing Megan 2 at a later date when I can go on Discount Tuesday, or I'll just wait for Peacock.
Yeah.
But I'll go check out F1. I don't really like Brad Pitt. I don't really like F1. But it'll look cool.
I have a potentially shocking prediction before we go.
Okay.
Basketball
or
No. Just a movie prediction. I'm getting excited for Jurassic World Rebirth.
Oh,
And
buddy,
I
don't
think it's
do
gonna
this.
be good.
Have you read the review? You know, some reviews came out.
I haven't seen reviews, but I think everything I'm seeing in the trailers lately. I'm like, this actually looks pretty fun and good. They did a whole like Sinners, the Ryan Coogler video where he's talking about the IMAX formats. They did one of those with Gareth Edwards, and they shot the movie on film, which I was shocked by. I was like, wow, sure.
It's not playing in IMAX
It's not
Talk
playing in
about-
IMAX at all.
at all. Completely skipping IMAX.
That seems like a missed opportunity as well.
That is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard, ever.
That is
I don't know.
weird.
I don't know why. I don't know if they thought they wouldn't get the screens against Superman and Fantastic Four or something.
Maybe. Well,
I guess here's my prediction: that movie's gonna suck. Like, be really boring and uninteresting, and none of the characters are gonna be anything. There's gonna be some cool dinosaur moments, some shoddy CGI. Yeah,
that's definitely a safer pick. I'm going with optimism here, and optimism has never failed me in the past.
I was gonna say you have fun with your optimism, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to go see it. For the podcast. I just hate these Jurassic World movies. Like, if we weren't doing the podcast, I would think I would skip that.
Okay, a little weird. I was just looking at tickets for Jurassic. Weird wrinkle. They're doing shows they're doing actual midnight shows for this movie on Tuesday.
Interesting.
The movie comes out on July 2nd, which is a Wednesday, which is a little weird. I guess it's coming out early for July 4th weekend or whatever. But yeah, they're doing, I see like at my theaters, 12:01 a.m. Dolby.
Let's see if I'm getting that here.
12:15 a.m. Real D 3D, 12:30 a.m. digital. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Oh yeah, we're getting 12:01s at the AMC.
Are people gonna go to those? Let's see what the
screening of Barton Creek is pretty full right now.
Yeah, okay. So I think Jurassic World's going to be good. Norman doesn't. We both think the Pacers are going to win. He thinks the Suns won the KD trade.
I think
the
Superman is
Rockets
winning
won.
the box office and quality of July.
Okay.
Or Eddington will be better, but if the big movies that are going to make more than $10, I think Superman.
I think
Superman's going to be my July winner.
Here's my other prediction. Eddington may be commercially successful. We'll see.
0 chance. Like less than 0 chance. That might perform worse than Beau's Afraid.
No chance. There's no chance that.
It might have a decent-ish opening weekend, but the second people see that movie, no one else is going to go see that movie.
How long is that movie? Do we know?
It could be 20 minutes and people want to go see it, dude. It is I think people hate COVID.
225. 225. Not bad.
It's 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
You think it's going to make a lot of money?
Yeah, I think not a lot of money, but like I think it could, do better than Beau is Afraid.
I wish I had your optimism.
It's not going to do, Hereditary, Midsommar numbers, I wouldn't think, but it could do well enough is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's going to, challenge, Jurassic World or nothing. I'm just saying it's
yeah.
It may not flop horrifically is what I'm saying. It's kind of a shit prediction, but optimism. Kind of.
Optimism.
Well, we'll see where that gets me.
All right, so is that going to be it for our episode here?
Yeah, 28 years later.
Woo. Movie of the year. Best movie ever.
All right. See y'all.
See y'all next time.